My next guest, Horace Cooper from the nonprofit group Project 21, has been speaking out about how our government institutions have been abandoning their duty to protect Americans because, as I just said, they're too damn busy going after Republicans. He recently wrote an article for the Washington Times about the weaponization of these government agencies like the FBI, DOJ, IRS, you name it. He cites, of course, the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid and the Steele dossier, going back to the whole Russia hoax, right? He ties in, while the FBI was focused on the Steele dossier back in 2016, during that same year in the city of Chicago, there were 762 homicides that took place. A whopping 3,289 murders tallied across our land. Wow. I want Horace to join us now for more insight on the research he did for the article that he wrote and just the overall discussion, Horace, welcome by the way, that the FBI could be doing and used to be used, from what I remember when I was younger, as a tool to help keep Americans safe, to investigate these big crimes that local law enforcement don't have the manpower or the resources to do. Yet now they're focusing on a handful of ultra MAGA people for political theater. And what in the heck's happening in our country? Horace, crime is running rampant. Where are they at?
Well, crime is absolutely running rampant, but you wouldn't know it based on how the FBI is acting. You'd think they got it all under control. Things are great. We're in the lowest crime levels we've ever experienced. That's what you'd think because they've got extra time to spend on, say, a Catholic pro-lifer like Mr. Houck, going around with 25 or 24 agents to come to his house and arrest him over a year-old dispute about something that happened in front of an abortion clinic. What we are seeing is the FBI, which was created and given an awesome responsibility to serve the American people, abandoning that and instead embarking on agendas that don't advance the goal of safety and undermine the American people's willingness to continue to support. Gang violence is a real problem. Carjacking is a real problem. Home invasions across multiple counties and state lines. They are happening at epidemic levels, and the FBI has specific power to investigate, to arrest, and to hold these people accountable. But instead, they leave that alone, and it's exploding so that they can pursue a political agenda.
And
Shame
Horace,
on
I'll
them.
tell you what, just as a father chaps my you-know-what, is when we found out early last week, thanks to the whistleblower that contacted Congressman Jim Jordan's office, that they've been neglecting sex exploitation cases involving little kids.
That's right.
To go after January 6ers. Now, what in the... I mean, any American, parent or not, should see that and be outraged and literally call their congressman, their senator, the White House, and say, how could the Biden regime allow this? How could they direct an FBI to be so politically charged that you're allowing our most innocent to go unprotected? That's sick. That's un-American.
It's sick and sad. Remember now, there's a phrase, don't make a federal case out of something. Only when it's important, only when it's serious. But this FBI is doing exactly the opposite. The Presidential Records Act violations occurred allegedly by President Obama, by President Clinton, even former President Bush. There was no raid. There was no major, quote, federal case made out of it. When little kids are being exploited and you do nothing and you're silent, when carjackings are exploding all across the country, remember, it's a federal crime now to walk up to a person in their vehicle, point a gun at them, and ask or demand that they get out of the vehicle. Why is it that the federal government, and in particular the FBI, is ignoring this? This is a sign that they're more interested in the woke agenda, and as a consequence, the real need for a national law enforcement office is undermined. And that puts us all at risk.
Yep, sure does. Not the FBI you grew up with, looking up to them, thinking how cool to be a G-man and go bust the big bad guy. Nothing like that anymore, is it, Horace? What a sad, sad state of affairs. I don't know how we get it cleaned up. I'm hoping if a Republican majority takes back over and then we get a R in the White House, no matter who that may be in 24, something can be done. But I don't see this politicization of these agencies going away anytime soon. Do you?
Well, I say that programs like yours, focusing on this, will help push the FBI and, importantly, not the rank and file, but those who are pulling the strings, make sure that they have accountability. We absolutely need oversight from Congress. We absolutely need a new FBI director and probably a new president to put in place the kind of rules that would make sure they stay in their lane. That's not where they are now. Americans suffer. Oh, and by the way, the least among us. If you're rich, you can protect your kid from being assaulted. If you're rich, you can protect your home. You can even have a team drive around with you to make sure you're not carjacked. It's everybody else.
Yeah.
That's when the ball gets dropped, because everybody else who can't afford that protection, it's too bad for them.
Yeah, and we better start speaking up. Horace Cooper, chairman over at Project 21. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on, and thank you for that article speaking truth to power and what's happening in this country. God bless you, Horace. Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah.